back to another episode of the Double or Nothing podcast. We're going on NFL week number 4. Feels like we haven't been here in a couple weeks. Dylan finally back from Mexico. How was your trip over there, Joe?
It was good outside of last week. Last week's picks were terrible. The week before I did very well. So I guess we'll go over in a little bit here. We'll go over a recap of the last 2 weeks so we can go over everything. But yeah, last week I got crushed.
Well, at least you look cool in the clips. Sitting by the pool.
Yeah.
Way better than I did sitting in front of my computer chair.
Nature going to Mexico.
Yeah, the perfect time of the year, too. We have a new host with us this week. Little Sugar Shane over here. Shane, you want to say hi to everybody?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here and ready to listen to all the Jets talk.
Let's get it.
Shane's here for moral support. And we have a third member of our Jets fandom here just to, complete it. All right, so first we'll be going over kind of how we did last week or what our records were. Again, this is another, I think, my third straight week of just going completely even, which, including the VIG is really losing overall. But it's been honestly a rough back and forth with these last couple weeks in terms of how the games have been going. Hard to read everything, and seems like the dogs have been coming out on top a lot of times.
Yep.
So, I'm happy getting out, like kind of fighting a little bit.
Yeah, it's been an absolute roller coaster. I mean, week one, I think, I don't know, maybe we could figure that out at some point, but I think I went 7-7-2.
Yeah, something right.
7-7-2 in week one. So you come out of the gate, you got out alive, 500. Then in week two, I went 11-4-1. So riding a high, going to Mexico, on top of the world. I'm the best. Nobody can touch me. I'm the man. And then you come crashing back down to reality. I think I went 3-13.
Wow.
I think I went 3-13. I don't know that for sure.
Some
I'd
say
have to
that's
check.
why you left Mexico.
Yeah. I mean, I almost had to stay. 3-13 was a horrible week. So, it is what it is. We'll bounce back. Didn't really get a chance to watch too many of the games because, for whatever reason, you can't watch Sunday Ticket in Mexico. I found that out the hard way. YouTube, you need like a VPN to watch. You pay $1 gazillion for Sunday Ticket, and then you need a VPN to connect to your YouTube in Mexico.
And the service is always just
Sports bar was beautiful there, and you got 30 people in there. Nobody's behind the bar. The lights are out. No air conditioning.
What was the drink of choice while you were at the bar watching? Water?
And I was drinking a lot of water. Yeah, I was being a little bit. But, I mean, I like the fruity drinks a little bit, like Miami Vice and strawberry daiquiris and all of them.
Vice.
Yeah.
That's James's go-to.
Yeah, Miami Vice is cool. So, yeah, it was a rough week. Almost a good week. Last week, even though the picks were bad, but the Giants just absolutely fucked me. I mean, they come out of the gate, they fumble the opening kickoff, look like shit. First offensive play of the game by the Browns is a touchdown to Amari Cooper. 7-0. I'm like, okay, change the channel on this one. We're cruising to the victory on the teaser on that one. And that turns out to be the only leg of the teaser that screws me. Deshaun Watson's got the ball 7 times in a row to go down and tie the game. And I don't even know if he crossed the 50.
That's a perfect segue into the first game of the week this week we'll be going over. So we're going to be doing the same thing we always do. Start with the Thursday night game, go all the way to the Sunday 1s, Sunday 4s, Sunday 8s, and then the Monday night game. So Thursday night slate, we'll get right into it. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Cowboys minus 5.5 on the road. Over-under is 45.5. So what do you think about your New York Football Giants?
This game is going to be the biggest game of the year for me because it's either going to be I'm going to take all out of the gate running on Thursday night and I'm never going to look back for the rest of the season, or my season's going to be done. I'm putting every single thing I own on the Dallas Cowboys minus 5.5. I'm going to do a little bit of a points bet, which we haven't talked about here at all.
So points bet, lightning, flash bet, I think it's also called, or something like that. And the other gambling terms is, if you want to explain
basically, basically it's a form of gambling where you are paying a price per point. So let's just use $10 as an example. If you bet $10 on a team that's minus, we'll just use the Cowboys 5.5, right? So $10 per point, and you start the game. If you take the Cowboys, you start the game off down $55 because it's 5.5.
Yeah.
So each point is worth $10, right? And then if the Cowboys win by a certain number of points, then you subtract the spread from however many points they win by. So if they win by 10, you take away the 5.5 points, right? And now you're left with 4.5.
Yeah.
So you win $45 if the Cowboys win by 10. But if the Cowboys lose by 10, you lose $155.
Yeah.
So it's
Most
like
books don't. They used to have PointsBet that does it, but now PointsBet was bought by Fanatics, right? Yeah, Fanatics, I think, bought them. So I'm not sure if they do them, but limited books that do them.
Yeah. Points betting is you got to find the right book. You got to look around. But if you can ever get into it, sometimes it's good because if you're not really playing the number as much as you're just playing the win and the loss, like you can get a really, really good team laying 10 points, right? And it seems like it's a lot, right? But you pretty much have a good idea that team's going to win outright. Yeah. But you don't know by how much. If you're laying $10 a point, and let's just say you're laying 10, but the team only wins by a touchdown, you're still only losing $30.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you can kind of you're playing that 30% chance that team minus 10 just blows the doors off them, and you're winning a bunch of money. So the reward is really high, whereas the risk can kind of obviously the risk is always there to be high as well, but when you're talking about the NFL, traditionally speaking, really, really good teams will beat up on really, really bad teams. And even if it's closer than maybe meets the eye, you still don't lose that much. Whereas if you just wanted to go out and put $1,000 on a team minus 10, now they have to cover by the 10 to win the money.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can lose a very little amount of money by betting a couple $100 a point, and they only lose let's say they don't cover the spread by 2 or 3 points. It's like not the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you said, there's always like the better teams will beat up on the worst teams. So if like these high-powered offensive teams, you feel more comfortable doing that on, it's not like a let's get cute type of bet.
No. It's as serious of a bet as you can make, especially if you're going to throw a lot of money out there. But I'm all in on the Cowboys. I'm all in. I think the Giants. I love the spot. I just love the spot for the Cowboys because they're 1-2, back-to-back losses. Really have been disappointing the fans who are big Cowboy guys. Like they really just haven't shown you what you thought they could be. And the Giants, I think everybody knows aren't that good, but like now they have like this little bit of a hope because they went out and they beat a good defense in the Browns, and they beat them by more than a touchdown. So I think the Giants are kind of propped up as a little bit better than they are, and the Cowboys are a little bit worse than they are. And the Cowboys traditionally just beat the shit out of the Giants. I mean, I think Dak is 12-0 against the Giants since 2017. So, no, I mean, they're just, in my opinion, it's the best chance to throw a points bet out there because the possibility of the Cowboys winning the game by, I don't know, 30 points is out there,
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at last year, what it was 40-0 in the home opener, and it really got away from them. I would lean to the Cowboys minus 5.5 as well. I feel like if they get off to a hot start, then it's no looking back at that point.
Yeah,
you always love a team coming off 2 bad losses, embarrassing losses, both at home. And then the Giants coming off a big road win.
Yeah, big road win for the Giants. Listen, this is all Cowboys here. Minus 5.5. Yeah. This is the game of the year for me. Like, this game is going to depend. This game is going to determine how the rest of my year goes. Because I'm either not going to be able to. Here, Shane, you want to close those? My bad.
Wow, looks like
yeah, no, this game is going to determine how the rest of my year goes. I'm either going to win a lot of money on this game here. Dallas is going to smoke the Giants, and I'm going to be soaring into next week with a lot of cash, or right into Sunday with a lot of cash.
You'll be high
hopes
all
or the Giants are going to shock the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to come back down to earth and realize they're not really that good. They're going to pack it in for the year, and so am I.
Yeah, I just like, you know what, like this isn't so much of a play against the Giants as it's a good spot for the Cowboys because Giants came off a huge win. They're going to be super pumped about it, right? They got a win on the road they weren't supposed to get. Cowboys coming back from 2 bad losses at home, so this is a perfect bounce back spot.
Yeah,
right
perfect
here.
bounce back spot. I mean,
So-
I said that same thing last week, but didn't pan out. They had that a little bit of an electric comeback towards the end, but whatever.
Yeah.
We'll move on. But my official pick is going to be Cowboys -5.5, and I think it's not even going to be close.
Yeah, I'll be right there with you. All right, next game we got the Sunday 1 o'clock slate. First game we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Carolina Panthers. So Cincinnati is laying 4.5 on the road, over under 46.5.
So it's Bengals minus
4.5.
against who?
The Panthers, sorry,
Bengals -4.5 on the road
on the road.
versus the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, tough. The Panthers looked like an entirely new football team with Andy Dalton at the helm. Red Rocket comes in, hangs 40, just looks incredible. Throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. The entire team looked like just re-energized. I know that kind of happens when a new quarterback comes
yeah.
in. They kind of get that boost.
No Adam
It's very,
Thielen
very,
this week,
yeah, no Adam Thielen this week. The Bengals need a win more than they need air to breathe. I mean, so it's very, very hard with Joe Burrow's back in the corner. I didn't think he played that bad in the Commanders game.
played
They
great.
didn't even punt like you said before. So I in my opinion, I do think it's close, and I do think 4.5. I think Andy Dalton and the Panthers have deserved the right to pretty much pick the Panthers here at 4.5, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take the Bengals -4.5.
I mean, you have to. They need this game more than anything.
Yeah,
right?
they just need it.
I've been throwing this one back and forth. I could see both sides, but
Yeah,
I'm going to lean to the Panthers +4.5 at home.
I understand.
It's so hard, but it's like I've now watched the Bengals 3 weeks in a row where, you know what, they look good against the Chiefs, but to me it was more of Patty Mahomes just made 2 bad decisions and a fluke fumble by Carson Steele, and that's how the Bengals were in that game. 3 turnovers compared to none. Comes to a close game, they still lose. So the Patriots kind of move the ball at will against them. And then when you see the Commanders just go up and down the field, it's like I could see Andy Dalton doing the same thing. I think the team is still a little rejuvenated, coming back home now. Even though Adam Thielen, I just don't like the Bengals right now to blow out anybody. I think their defense is
No.
so bad. Their defense outside of their defensive end. What is his name, Shane? Their DN they have?
For who?
The Bengals?
Trey
what is-
Hendricks.
Yeah, number 9. Yeah, outside of him, the entire rest of the defense is just complete mid. So to me, this is if I'm going to get 4.5 for the home team, I'm going to take it. I'll take the Carolina Panthers +4.5.
Yeah, no, I don't hate the pick. It's just it's tough to watch Joey B kind of struggle in
Yeah.
the
For a
first
guy
3
who
weeks.
couldn't play any better the other day.
Yeah.
3
Yeah, I
touchdowns,
feel bad for him.
300 yards.
I feel bad for him. I think that he's gonna bounce back. I think he's getting a lot of unnecessary hate. I don't really think it's been his fault. Even in the Patriots game, I mean, it's not like he was turning the ball over left and right. I mean,
No,
it's
no,
just the Patriots just ran the rock like right down their throat and
The
just
Bengals
kind
to
of
me
punched
are
him in
a
the mouth.
product of a team that just went through training camp and preseason with no one practicing as a whole.
Yeah,
You know, you had Higgins not practicing. Then you have Jamar Chase not practicing. And then, coming out of camp, it was, well, Joe Burrow never practiced more than 3 days in a row because something with his wrist. And then it's like, well, now you're seeing that, hey, maybe preseason and training camp kind of means something as a team. But their offense was not the problem. So their defense is a complete issue at this point.
I'm just gonna play the situation and like
Yeah.
I can't wake up on Monday
0-4.
morning. Yeah, I can't
You
wake up
can't
on
say
Monday
it.
morning saying, "Hey, Joey B has lost back-to-back games to the Commanders and the Panthers." It's not really something I see happening. So I'm gonna roll Bengals, and I think that they bounce back and maybe their offense continues to roll. Hopefully their defense steps it up a little bit. I think Andy Dalton will cool off a little bit. I think he just came in so hot and energized, ready to roll.
Yeah.
I think the team will maybe take a backseat to that kind of energy and no
I could
Adam Thielen.
Totally see that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna roll Bengals, and I think that they should win the game by maybe a touchdown or more.
Yeah. All right, next game we have the Denver Broncos at the New York Jets. Right now, the Jets are -7.5 at home. Over under 39.5.
Yeah, this is a tough spot. It's a tough spot because, obviously the Broncos played pretty well last week. I mean, we're not Bo Nix guys. We're not Broncos guys. We think they kind of stink. But they did play well last week. I mean,
Yeah, all
period.
the time.
Period.
Yeah, listen,
Bo Nix was
they-
running around
They
and
killed the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers had zero answers for them.
yeah, and he was extending plays. He was finding ways to get the first downs with his legs. He ran into the end zone, that corner run play where he extended it and ran into the end zone. Like Bo Nix didn't look bad. The Bucks are definitely a pretty good football team, and they played really well. But like we always say, when teams that play above how good they are usually come back down to earth the following week, I think the Jets didn't do anything unbelievable, but Aaron Rodgers looked really good. They went in, they stuck to the game plan, won the football game, played really well. So it's such a weird number. 7.5 is hard. I mean, that just screams backdoor cover, you
I
know.
know.
But I went against the Jets last week and I was wrong.
And Shane was not happy.
Yeah,
with you.
I went against the Jets. I went against the Jets. Just thinking the Patriots were the kind of team that were gonna dogfight with everybody and keep it close with everybody. And the Jets went out and did what they were supposed to do. So hopefully they can continue that trend. I'll ride with the Jets and I'll lay the 7.5.
Yeah, I'm going to ride with the Jets as well. This is a game I would wait if you were going to bet it. It's at -105 right now, so I could easily see that coming right back down to 7.
Yeah,
as
you
we
would.
got-
I mean, from a gambling perspective, it's very difficult to lay 7.5.
Yeah.
You want to see it at 7 or less, but
And there's no difference between 7.5 and 8, so there's no real danger of waiting on the line.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Last week the Buccaneers were in. That was such a flat spot looking at it now because Buccaneers are playing the Eagles this week, and then going into last week they're just overlooking the rookie. Really.
Yeah.
And I think the Jets get extended rest here. They're at home. Again, rookie quarterback who got his first win. So to him, that's like his Super Bowl, right? And he played outstanding. I think the Jets are going to take him a little more serious. There is no reason, and Shane said this to me on the way here, there's no reason they shouldn't beat the Broncos just as bad as they beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's really because Patriots and Broncos are the same type of team.
yeah, and I also do think that the Jets do have it in the back of their minds, like, hey, like people aren't really taking us that serious yet,
Yeah.
so you can't afford to play tight against the Broncos because then you just get all the Jets haters and all the media outlets coming out saying like, see, this is what I'm talking about. They go out, they beat the Patriots, and then they have this close fight to the death with the Broncos. Like Aaron Rodgers knows that, the organization knows that. Like they know they're supposed to go in here and beat up on the Broncos. And
This
I think,
is the Redeem Hackett game again.
yeah. Listen, I like the Jets -7.5. I don't love it. I like the Jets to win, but kind of just feels like one of those games we're gonna get screwed on the back end. But
Perfect teaser leg.
yeah,
Get them in a teaser -1.5. They'll beat the Broncos at home.
yeah.
All right, next game we have the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are laying 2.5. Over under is 42.5. Another
So
tough game.
just
here.
repeat that one more time. I'm sorry.
The Saints are at the Falcons.
Okay.
Falcons -2.5. Over under is 42.5.
Falcons -2.5.
Yeah, at home.
Okay. Yeah, another weird line. I guess it makes sense because they think that maybe they think the Saints are a little bit better than the Falcons. Because if they thought that they were even teams, it'd probably be 3.
No, you know what? The home field really isn't as big as a thing. As now they're saying it's worth only 2 points now. So they're saying
Okay.
this is basically an even spread.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Saints. I think the Saints are a little bit of a better football team. I do think that the Falcons got hosed on the no PI call in the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
I know Mahomes is going to get those calls, or going to get those no calls, I should say. He'll get them on both ends of the ball, and it's a little infuriating when you're watching in prime time and everybody sees the tight end get tackled, and then they don't throw the flag. So I'm sure Atlanta is going to come out hot, like with the feeling like, hey, we got screwed last week. Like, let's come out, let's win this football game. But I do think the Saints are also kind of fired up. Like their defense had 5 turnovers or 4 or 5 turnovers against the Eagles. The Eagles did not look like a team that should have won that football game, and they did. So kind of weird spot for both teams, but I hate going with the favorites as much as I'm going with them, but I'm gonna. Oh no!
No,
This
you're
isn't a
good.
favorite. I'm
You're
gonna go with
getting
the.
to
I'm
it,
gonna flip flop. I'm gonna go underdog here. I'm gonna take the Saints plus 2.5. Another situation where you might wanna in a tight division game, you might want to buy to the push to the 3, but yeah, for the sake of the picks, I'll take
or
the
another
Saints plus
great
2.5.
teaser spot getting the Saints to plus 8.5.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm actually going to roll with the Atlanta Falcons at the minus 2.5. I think this is they haven't looked that great in their last 2, but you know what? They beat the Eagles, the Falcons did, and then Saints just lost to the Eagles. I think we're getting Kirk out of that primetime slot and back into his Kirk zone Sunday, 1 o'clock, where his record kind of speaks for himself there against the spread. And I'll take the Atlanta Falcons minus 2.5. They should have beat the Chiefs last week, honestly.
Yeah.
Bad calls by the ref, bad clock management by the coach, and bad play calling by the coach, who on 4th and inches runs a halfback sweep instead of running up the middle. I don't know. So I think the Falcons, you know what, 2.5 under a field goal here. I do think they win the game. Close game, though. I do think that it could really go either way, but I feel like Atlanta might cover this one.
All
right. On to a game I'm definitely excited to watch. The Minnesota Vikings are at Green Bay. Green Bay is minus 2.5. Over under 43.5.
Yeah, this is tough, man.
Your boy Jordan Love is practicing.
Is practicing? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Malik Willis is probably better anyway. I mean, and that's pretty. Yeah, Malik Willis has impressed me. I'll give him that because I was dogging him, saying I don't even know if he should be a backup. So he's played good.
You weren't the only one.
He's played good. So hats off to Malik Willis. He's played good. He's earned the right to, at bare minimum, be a solid backup in football from here on out
for a long time.
Yeah, for here on out. Like those kind of performances, you win football games that you're not supposed to win, and you do it like that, you're buying yourself 5 years of being a backup.
He's like, you know what? He's a perfect comp too. Is like Tyler Huntley will stay in the league forever.
How he didn't play. Like I said that in my picks. I said that in my picks last week. How he doesn't play. That was one of the only fucking games I got right. How he doesn't play. He's the backup to Skylar Thompson, right? He's the third.
Well, technically, he was the third behind Boyle. They should have put him in.
Yeah, very strange, but whatever. We'll get to that point when we get there.
If he was brought up, I don't know if he was brought up to the main roster. They signed him to a practice squad, so I don't know if they brought him.
Oh,
up.
I didn't. I don't know
but
the specifics.
This week they did. Like he is full. Like he is expected to start.
For the Dolphins,
Huntley, yes, but we'll get into that.
Okay, we'll get into that when we get there. But yeah, for this game, oh man, I hate rolling with teams that are this hot because they're just bound to come back down to earth. I mean, are the Vikings really going to start the season off like 5, 6, 7-0?
You can say both teams are hot, right?
Yeah, both teams are hot. Yeah, give me Sam Darnold, man. Give me Sam Darnold getting the 2.5. Another weird situation where if I was gambling on the game, which I'm not, I'd probably take it to the 3. But yeah, what are you gonna do? You can't take every game to the 3. So give me the Vikings and the 2.5. Sam Darnold's playing his face off right now.
If you want, like it's trending towards them with the +3. It's minus 105 right now. So
yeah, so if it's minus 105,
you can completely wait on.
Yeah, wait on this game. You get the Vikings at the 3. It's a tight division game. Sam Darnold's playing extremely well. The offense is just playing extremely well. Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, even the third wide receiver over in Minnesota is looking
Addison?
great. Jalen Naylor.
Oh, the other guy.
Yep. Addison's too.
Yeah.
I don't know when Hawk's coming back. I think he's at least out 4 weeks because he was on the IR,
yep.
right? But yeah, the Vikings look too good. I know Green Bay looks great too, and they're at home, but I have more faith in Sam Darnold to continue to do what he's doing than I have in Malik Willis to continue to do what he's doing. And if Jordan Love does play, I'm sure the number will reflect, like the number will switch a little bit. I don't think it's going to go crazy, but at bare minimum, you're going to get 3, maybe even 3.5 with the Vikings. So if Jordan Love plays, wait for the number to rise. Even if
once that official.
Yeah, once that official line comes out, then you'll have a better gauge on this game. But give me the Vikings for now at 2.5.
I'm going to go the over 43.5
Oh, that's
because
good.
I do feel like if Jordan Love does play, even if Malik Willis, he's, they've putting up a decent amount of points, and Sam Darnold and the Vikings have putting up over 25 every single week that they play.
Yeah.
So alone, I know Minnesota is going to get me over half this, at the very least. But if I was going to do a spread, I would do like you said, is you could wait for this thing to get to 3, you take Minnesota with
It's a tough
field goal.
over-under because both offenses are playing good and both defenses are playing
Both
good.
defenses are playing
Yeah, so it's a
good.
tough
So,
over-under to bet, but I like it.
yeah, I think it's just low enough. I mean, obviously I would like it if it was at the 42 number, but it's not there. So, but I'll still take the over 43.5 for that game, just because I could easily see that Jordan Love comes back and he's not 100%, and then the Vikings just run away with it, right?
Yeah.
Because you'd rather have Malik Willis in there playing at 100% than Jordan Love at 70%.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
I mean, you'd rather have Malik Willis and Jordan Love at 100%, both of them anyway.
I think Jordan Love stinks, so yeah, I'm not a believer.
Our next game we have is the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. The Texans are -6.5. Over under 45.5.
Dude, this is like the hardest week. This is like the hardest week because like this is also a number that was at 7 yesterday, and at 7 I love the Jaguars. At 6.5 I don't like either team.
I know, and this
It's
is
so
another
weird.
one that it's like
What's the over under?
45.5.
Oh man, like also difficult.
Because Houston's offense hasn't looked that great the last 2 weeks. What they score against the Vikings last week? 10,
yeah, no.
7, and then Jacksonville did nothing against the Bills. He just
If
got
this line
throttled.
stays, if this line stays at 6.5, I'd probably lean over. And if this line jumps to 7, give me the Jags. You know what? Screw it. I'll take the Jags. I'll take the Jags at 6.5. Another team. Never thought they were going to start 3-0. I never thought they were great, but didn't think they'd be 0-3. You know, I didn't think they'd be 0-3.
I'm
So
right there with you.
Give me the Jags at 6.5. I wait till it hits 7 because it probably will, but give me the Jags at 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take them as well. I think it, like you said before about the Bengals, they're not an 0-4 team.
No.
They're not the worst team in the NFL. Like it just
No.
it can't be. Maybe the Bills just are that good, but I think they just Houston's offense hasn't shown me enough this year where they're just lay a touchdown type of winning. They barely beat the Bears. They got smoked by Minnesota. So I'll take the points bounce back week for Trevor Lawrence.
All right, I like
The
it.
next game we're going to be getting into is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Indianapolis Colts. Pittsburgh -1.5. Over under a huge 39.5.
Wow. Yeah, I don't necessarily. This is a weird one because like my thought process on this game is that the Steelers defense is very, very good, and I think that Anthony Richardson will struggle with
Yeah.
that kind of frontline pressure. I know he can move around, but it just feels like TJ sets the edge so well and like gets after these quarterbacks, and I don't know. It kind of immediately feels as if like AR is not going to be able to do that much against Pittsburgh's defense. But with that being said, like I'm not a Justin Fields believer. Like I know he's 3-0. I know he's playing great, and everyone's giving him the praises now. But like to me, Sam Darnold has been much more impressive in his 3-0 stint than like Justin Fields. And I feel like
Oh, 100%.
all these things I'm seeing are like putting these guys in the same category. Like they both rejuvenated their careers. It's like I see that with Sam Darnold. I don't see that with Justin Fields. I see the Steelers defense keeping them in every single football game. So believe it or not, I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'm gonna take the Colts in this game. I think the Colts are going to win outright. I mean, obviously it's not that crazy of a thought process with the spread only being 1.5.
Yeah.
But give me the Colts with 1.5 as the dog in this spot. I think AR will struggle. I think the game will be ugly. It's not a great game to pick, but give me the Colts.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go the opposite. I'm just going to keep rolling with Pittsburgh. -1.5. You're
Yeah.
going to say that, all they need to do is basically win the game. Their defense has been unbelievable. Anthony Richardson just makes the dumbest plays.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right up there with Will Levis in terms of like plays that you watch him and say, what are you doing making that throw? Like, where Justin
I
Fields,
agree.
I know what you're saying, like he hasn't been crazy, but each week they are asking him to do a little more. And the offense each week has looked a little better. So it was up in the air for me here as either Pittsburgh -1.5 or under 39.5 because I don't think either of these teams are getting to 20. I don't see
Yeah.
that happening. So I'll take Pittsburgh minus 1.5.
Yeah,
though.
ugly game, but give me AR. Ugly game, but give me the Colts.
Yeah. Next game that we have up is the LA Rams at the Chicago Bears. The Rams are plus 2.5. Over under is 40.5.
Yeah, dude, Matt Stafford played his face off against the Niners. That was an
Unbelievable.
unbelievable comeback. McVay drew up some of the coolest plays in
Yeah.
that game.
It was
Like,
an empty the bag game. For
yeah,
McVay.
they impressed me, man. I mean, obviously, I was a Rams guy coming in. I got very demoralized by all their injuries and but I had the Rams winning the division fully healthy coming in. Like,
Is Cup playing or no? He's on the IR, so that's a minimum of 4 games.
Oh, he is officially on the IR?
yeah,
He wasn't on the IR, though.
No,
I don't
they
know.
list him as, in fantasy, they had him as doubtful.
I don't think Cup's playing. But either way, dude, give me the Rams outright here. Give me the Rams outright here. I mean, the Bears are just like Caleb Williams is just not it. And until he goes out there and impresses me and shows me that he can settle into his own here and figure out the reads of these defenses and plant his feet and throw a good football. Like, he's running all back and forth. He's trying to do too much, throwing on the run, trying all this fancy stuff. It's just not working.
No.
So Matt Stafford is going to be the kind of guy who he's going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, and they're going to put points up. So McVay's the better coach. Stafford's the better quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And just I know the Bears find a way to take the ball away a lot, but give me the Rams, and I don't necessarily think it's that close.
No, you know what? I was shocked at this line.
Yeah, it's
I
weird.
know the Rams have a lot of people out, but like you're looking at a team that just beat the 49ers. I get that. I feel like Chicago's defense at this point is going to slowly but surely get a little discouraged, saying it doesn't matter how well we play. This quarterback is not great right now.
No.
And their offensive line is just, I don't even know if they're college level good. Their
Yeah.
offensive line is horrible. I mean, you could see like from the replays where it's like, they're 4th and goal or whatever, and like they go for it, and their whole entire offensive line after half a second, they're all on their knees because the defense line just blew right by them. And that was from a Colts defense who, is missing their best player and isn't the best run stopper in the world. I don't know. I don't understand how Chicago, they shouldn't be favored against anyone in the NFL. Not if they're home or away. I don't care. They shouldn't be favored 3-point favorites against anyone, especially not McVay and Stafford.
Yeah, McVay and Stafford, like I was saying before, how I think McVay and Stafford are at the top end of like best combos in the league, whereas I think Sirianni and Hurts are at the bottom. But I like the injuries to the Rams are definitely an impactful thing, and they definitely affect the way these games turn out. But if you can go out there with the injuries that they had and come back against the San Francisco 49ers the way they did in the fashion that they did, with the way Stafford played from snap one to the end of that game, like, I'm rolling with that right now.
Yeah. Stafford's going to put this team on his back, and Kyron Williams is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, these guys, they looked way better than expected. Like, I thought the Niners were going to roll. Too many injuries, too many McVay and Stafford.
Even if the Rams
balled
didn't
out.
win last week, I would still like them in this spot.
Yeah,
plus
yeah.
2.5. Even if they lost to the 49ers.
I mean, the Bears have one win that Will Levis gave them.
gave him.
Yeah,
handed him
they
stuff.
had a 17 point. They had a 17-point lead, and the Bears didn't score a touchdown to win the game. Like, so that's the win that's the win that Caleb Williams has right now, and that's what we're laying points with this team. No, stop. Give me the Rams.
All right, on to your favorite team here. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles are minus 1.5, over under 44.5.
Yeah, no, give me the Bucs, man. Give me the Bucs. Eagles are a great football team overall, but Sirianni and Jalen Hurts together are just pathetic.
Continue to just be questionable.
They're
decisions.
just the worst combo in the NFL. I mean, it's unbelievable to watch these. I mean, they turn the ball over so many goddamn times, and they just made horrible decision after horrible. I mean, from Jalen Hurts throwing an interception in the end zone that was one of the worst throws of the game, to Sirianni deciding to go for it on 4th and whatever it was instead of taking points in a tight, low-scoring game.
Probably the worst coaching decision I think I've ever made or ever seen since Dan Campbell last year.
Yeah, it's just
Against
so
49ers.
bad. I mean, and we're it's not like we're playing Monday morning quarterback. I mean, we're in a group chat texting this stuff as it's happening. Like, you got to take points here. You got to take points here. And they go for it. They don't get it. They get down there. They turn the ball over left and right. I mean, the rest of the Eagles team outside of Sirianni and Hurts are just carrying this team. And now that you're going to possibly have no Devontae Smith, no A.J. Brown, the Bucs beat the shit out of them last year in a bigger spot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield coming off a bad loss, big bounce back spot. The Eagles, I don't even know how they got out of that game with a win. So give me the Bucs.
I'm on the same page as you. Plus 1.5. I'll take the Bucs all day after getting embarrassed last week
Against a bad team.
I think
so-
they were already looking forward into this week.
Yeah.
With their Eagles playoff matchup. But like you said, just a cluster of injuries. No Lane Johnson. Probably no Devontae Smith. No A.J. Brown. So
And they're laying points.
yeah, they're laying points, and their defense looked great last
On the
week.
road, right?
No doubt about it. But we know from the previous 2 games, on the road, that their defense isn't that great. You
No.
know, they looked good last week.
They
but
did.
I'm gonna go with a bigger sample size of how they looked the last year and a half. They've looked terrible. I just can't see Hurt. This is really just, can Saquon Barkley go and win you the game, because Hurts has no one to throw to.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Eagles can win this football game. So
Oh
don't
yeah,
get it crazy.
the spread
I'm not
is
getting
what it is,
crazy,
but I'm
yeah.
just going to take the home team.
Yeah, I
off a
agree.
bad loss, and that's basically it. That's
Baker's
it.
better than Jalen, period. Bowles is better than Sirianni. And I think team for team, they're closer than maybe the public wants to admit.
Oh,
So-
100%.
So give me the Bucs.
All right. Now on to the 4:00 Sunday slate. We have the New England Patriots at the San Francisco 49ers. Patriots plus 10.5. Over under 40.5.
That half a point slipped in there, huh?
Yeah, it did.
Oh man, 10 and
know.
a half is just a lot, man. It's just a lot.
It's a ton.
It's a ton. I don't know who's playing for the Niners, and that's kind of like a gigantic piece of information.
Shane,
to
can you
know.
check if Debo is playing, or is he out?
So we have Debo is probably questionable, maybe even doubtful. We got Kittle we got to worry about, right? I know
Yeah.
Trent Williams was having a little bit of an issue.
Their 3rd highest paid defensive lineman just tore his bicep out for the year.
Yeah. So I mean, they're banged up, man. But off back, who's playing, Shane?
Yeah, Debo's doubtful. He didn't practice today.
Yeah,
Oh.
Debo's not going to play.
They go as Debo
about
goes,
Kittle?
let's be honest.
And Kittle.
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers go as Debo goes. I mean, if he plays, I love this. I mean, I don't love it, but I like 10. But especially if he's not playing, Patriots just coming off an embarrassing loss on the road, extended rest, no injuries. I don't love it, but I'll take the Patriots plus 10.5.
Kittle.
Kittle's questionable, but he was limited in practice today.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be the biggest square here. I mean, I've rolled with the Niners 2 weeks in a row now, just thinking they're going to roll. They have 2 bad losses. Like, they what that huge comeback with the Rams. They kind of got embarrassed by the Vikings. Like,
Oh, really?
and they're
embarrassed.
still a good football team. Like, they're still so good. So, give me the Niners minus 10.5.
Oh,
Give me the
alright.
Niners minus 10.5, man. The Patriots stink. Like, let's just like the Patriots stink, dude. Like, they're not good. They faked everybody out with the Bengals win, and then they played a tight matchup with the Seahawks. And I know they're a defensive, run-heavy team, but Niners should have no problem winning this game. And if I'm that convinced that the Niners are going to win outright, it's like I don't think it's going to end in a field goal.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
think it's a touchdown or more. And I know the 10 and the 10.5 number really starts to scare you, but
It's a half number that pushes me over, because now you're talking about 3 possessions instead.
yeah, you
of 2.
want to buy it down to 10. This is why it's tough to do these picks on Wednesday, because you don't know.
You don't have
but
all the information.
You don't have all
which
the
is tough.
information, but give me the Niners, man. I think they gotta blow the doors off somebody to get back on track, and what better team to go against than the Patriots for that?
All right. Our next matchup, we got the Washington Commanders on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. The Commanders are getting 3.5, over under 50.5.
I'm going to take the over 50.5. Jaden Daniels hasn't punted in 2 games. The Commanders haven't punted in 2 games. Kyler Murray and that offense is high powered and they can score a ton of points. I know they didn't do that against the Lions last week,
But
right?
they were on pace. They were against, because I took the over last week with the Cardinals. It was 51.5, and it was 20-10 at half.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
they had a bad second half of football. Kyler Murray, I do think like he really wasn't on the same page as Marvin Harrison towards the end of that game. I saw that they were kind of like back and forth. I think that there's a little bit of tension there. I don't know what it is. But like when they're on, they're on. When they're off, they're off. But yeah, I have a gut feeling this is going to be the fireworks show of the week. I think that the Commanders are going to punt at some point. I mean, I don't think they're going to go 3 games in a row without punting, but give me what is it, 50?
50.5.
50.5. Give me the over 50.5 in this game. I love both quarterbacks. I've been a huge Kyler, huge Jaden Daniels guy, as you guys know, if you've been watching. So I would like to see both teams go and light it up. So that's what I'm going to roll with. I'm going to roll with the over here.
Wow. I am right on board with you going into this game. I can't. So this is the first time that we'll be on board together for an over-under.
Yeah, 50's a lot, man. 50's a lot in a
50's a
football
lot,
game, but
Commanders haven't punted. Arizona's coming off a bad offensive performance. I don't see them putting up back-to-back bad offensive performances. I don't think the Commanders' defense is great because I don't think the Bengals punted either the other day.
yeah, that's a
So both these teams just got to get to 25. I think they both do it. I think they both have, if you are looking for something closer to, doing like a spread, obviously the 3.5 would be, you always want that.
Is
half
it
point.
3.5?
Yeah, it's 3.5.
Oh, it is 3.5. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're picking a side, you want to roll Commanders.
Or teaser up to 9.5 with the Commanders. I mean, they can score.
Yeah,
So,
it's true. It's true. It's just to me, you're looking at 2 bottom half defenses, pretty far down the bottom half of that list too.
Probably bottom.
And you're looking
25.
at 2 top half offenses and close to the top of the top half of the offenses as well. So
Yeah.
I'm confident in the over 50.5 in this game.
I love that. All right, we got the Kansas City Chiefs on the road against the Chargers. The Chiefs are -7.5, over under 39.5.
Shaney boy, what's Herbert's situation?
I don't think he's playing. He's definitely leaning to the not playing ish side.
Yeah, this game is a tough game.
It all depends on how he is. Man.
I mean, if Herbert plays, obviously you're taking the points.
Yeah, then you love +7.5 if he plays.
But if they don't play, then oof.
I am going to lean to the under 39.5 because if he doesn't play, all they're going to do is run the ball. And that's all they want to do, the Chargers.
Oh, okay.
And then I think the same thing for the Chiefs. I think they're going to maybe jump out to a lead and then sit on the ball, So this game to me kind of screams under.
What do we got?
Yeah, Arbro said he's progressing in his recovery, but it's definitely up in the air. So it's questionable.
Oh, God, man, with these questionable bullshit, man. It drives me crazy.
I don't think he's practiced all week, and there's no way with that contract he has, they're going to take any risk on him
Yeah.
playing this game.
Chiefs, man. The Chiefs haven't impressed me a ton. I know they're 3-0, and they're just the kind of team that just finds a way to win, it seems, whether it's with ref help or not. If Justin Herbert, I'll put it to you this way. We'll leave it at this. I'm going to roll Chiefs right now, minus the 7.5, just because if Justin Herbert doesn't play, that team's not good.
No.
And if Justin Herbert plays, he elevates them to a point where nobody should be giving them 7.5. So So if Justin Herbert plays, and the line stays in 7.5 range, take the Chargers. But if Justin Herbert kind of shifts to doubtful, which is what I think that line is saying.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, definitely is what it's saying.
If right now
Herbert's
as it
playing
stands
in this game, the Chargers are probably only +3, probably +3.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So based on the line,
Actually,
based
probably
on it,
+2.
based on it saying Justin Herbert's not playing, give me the Chiefs and laying the 7.5.
on, and I'll be under 39.5, which I haven't hit an under on the Chiefs. 0-2 so far this year, but I think with this Chargers offense, I think like Harbaugh's just going to want to run the ball all game. He's not going to try to get embarrassed, especially with a backup quarterback. So maybe even like Chargers team total under or something. All right, we next up we have the Cleveland Browns getting 1.5 on the road against the Raiders, over under 37.5. That's embarrassing.
Raiders are gonna roll here. Raiders are gonna roll here. Pierce looked fired up in the press conference. He's looking to just like let heads roll over them giving up last week. That was an embarrassing performance by the Raiders. I do think you have to give credit to Dalton for coming out firing, but
Yeah, I mean, it was a flat spot for the
yeah,
Raiders.
the
Coming off
Raiders-
that win against the Ravens.
yeah, the Raiders are way better than they played last week, and the Browns are just kind of shaping up to be not a very good football team. So, give me the Raiders here, man. I think the Raiders. I think the Raiders roll here.
I'm right there with you. I don't think the Browns defense hasn't impressed me at all. I think they've
No.
looked really bad against teams.
Miles Garrett's banged up.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing with an injury that's just going to nag him all year long. They let the Giants pass all over them, and there's no reason that Devontae Adams and Gardner Minshew can't do the same thing.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
Give me the home team minus 1.5. I'll take it. Probably the best game of the week next. We have the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are minus 2.5, over under 46.5.
Phew. This is a tough one, man.
This is one I question why the line is what it is. I don't think the Bills should be. I would say this should be like more of a pick 'em type of thing with how these two teams have played this year.
It's in Baltimore, though, right?
Yeah.
It's in Baltimore, and I think people are still high on the Ravens just because I think the Ravens have kind of caught the short end of the stick, and I think they've kind of played pretty well offensively for most of the year. So I do think the Ravens are still a legit contender, and they're a real good football team. And I don't think that they can really afford. I mean, they can afford a loss, but I don't think that they want a loss here. Obviously, I think they need to kind of, at least at bare minimum, have a shootout and play really well to make people still believe in the Ravens. Bills are just on fucking fire right now. So you know what? With that being said, I'm not a big believer in the Bills defense. I know they're statistically speaking, they have all these weird stats like passer throwing the ball under the 15-yard mark. They have all these takeaways and less completions and all this stuff, but I'm just not a believer in these ticky-tack stats. I think the Bills defense really isn't that wonderful. I think Josh Allen's just carrying this team through everything. So I think he will continue to do that, and he will roll and play great, and I think Lamar's going to play great, and I'm going to take the over.
That was my pick.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over.
46.5 because you do get a little scared with how well the Bills have been playing, and then you're like, why is this line 2.5? This doesn't really make sense. They've been blowing everyone out. So what's going on? And it's like Baltimore in these fourth quarters have been letting everyone back in.
Yeah.
So,
They've done that for a long time.
a long time.
They've done that for a long time.
They get these 20 to 30 points, and then they like kind of let off the gas. I think Baltimore's defense isn't good. I'm just convinced of that now. Buffalo's defense, I'm on board with you. I don't think they're very good either. Over 46.5 doesn't seem like enough.
Yeah, I remember there was a crazy stat. Like, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. The Ravens were like, had lost like 2 or 3 football games and had only been losing in those 3 losses
In
for
the
like
last,
17 seconds total.
Yeah.
And it was like, are you kidding me? Like that's
They do it every
unbelievable.
time.
Yeah.
So if this game goes into the fourth quarter and they're only at like 34 points combined, I mean, it's still the Ravens defense in the fourth quarter is just
Yeah, give me the over here. I don't like a side in the game. If I had to choose gun to my head, I'd probably maybe just lean. I don't know. I wouldn't lean either way because I would say based on the way they're playing, the Bills are playing great, but I'm not a believer that the Ravens are a one-win
outside
football
of
team.
taking the side here of 46.5, like another one, a teaser, Buffalo plus 8.5, where Josh Allen hasn't lost by more than 6 in 44 games,
Yeah.
43 games. Like there you go. Like that could be something to look for too.
I think the Bills are kind of due to cool off a little bit, but yeah, I still think they're going to score a lot of points. I think the Ravens are going to score a lot of points. So give me the over.
All right.
What's our time look like?
We have 8 minutes left and
All right.
2 games left. So we'll jump to the last 2 Monday night games that we have here. Oh, sorry. Computer just froze up. All right. We have the Tennessee Titans at the Miami Dolphins. The spread right now, the Dolphins are -1, -1.5, over under 36.5.
Oh man, yeah,
Woof.
Skylar Thompson's terrible. Like you said, I don't really know what to make of the quarterback
I don't
situation.
think Skylar Thompson's playing.
If Skylar Thompson doesn't play, I like Miami. If Skylar Thompson plays, I will never like Miami. um, so I'm gonna go based on the fact that these guys in this organization know football better than I do, and they're gonna see what I saw, and they're gonna say, okay, we can't start this guy again if we expect to win football games. So I don't care who your third string guy is. If I've never heard of him, he's got to play this week. If Tyler Huntley is available and he's ready to play, I mean, he has to play.
I love Miami if Huntley plays.
Yeah, Miami -1 seems like one of the easier picks. They're at home. They need a win. They need to kind of get everybody believing that they can still hang around and until the Tua kind of situation comes to a decision. But yeah, give me Miami -1. I don't really think there's much to talk about here.
I'm in the same boat. I think like if Huntley plays, this is a great spot for Miami coming off a bad loss. I can't do the Will Levis thing anymore. I can't. He makes dumb decision 4 times a game. I can't. I don't know how they get rid of Malik Willis in there and keep him. What has he shown? I don't know. I don't know why that the organization loves him so much. I think the team is getting sick of him at this point. He can't throw, doesn't make good decisions.
He's in his own head.
He's not very good. So, this is a big spot for Miami, like you said. This is like a season-defining spot because Tua will be back in 2 weeks.
Is he coming back?
Yeah. Yeah, he's coming back. So it's what record do you want? They know if he plays that they have a good chance to win a lot of
It makes me respect Tua a little bit more because I think everybody goes into it like, oh, anybody could roll in there and hang 30 with that offense. And it's just like, I know it was Skylar Thompson, but still, like, it goes to show, like, Tua is better than people are giving him credit for, including myself. Like, the Dolphins are a team you expect to score 30, like when Tua's on the field. And I thought maybe more of it was the weapons than it was Tua, but it's starting to look like Tua does a lot for that offense, and they need him. So,
they need him back. All right, last game of the week, we have the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Seattle is getting 3.5 points, over under 46.5.
This is where?
In Detroit.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll with Seattle in the 3.5. I like Dan Campbell. I mean, I like the Lions, and I like the way that they play football. They're exciting, they're fun to watch. But I just always feel like other teams have a way to beat them. Like, I never feel confident that they're just gonna roll into town and get the win. Like, I know they're exciting and they're fun to watch and they're a great team, but Seattle, I feel more confident in doing the right thing, making the right decisions, putting points on the board. Like, I think when it comes down to those 4th and short situations, I think they're going to take the points. I don't think Detroit will. So if Seattle can turn around and get 1 or 2 stops on 4th down, I think it could totally shift the game. And I could see Seattle winning out right here. But I'll take the 3.5 and I'll roll with Seattle.
I'll do the same thing. Plus, the 3.5 is really the one that sells you on this one because I think Seattle's played well this year. Outside the first half against Denver, they've looked unbelievable ever since. Another 3-0 team. Geno Smith in this offense looks like they've kind of found their.
DK looks great.
I don't know if
Kenneth
Walker's playing, but Charbonnet has looked unbelievable.
Yeah.
The offense doesn't skip a beat when he's not in. So if I can get that plus 3.5, Detroit hasn't really impressed me too much this year, honestly. They were beating the Cardinals by 10.5 and they let them hang around the rest of the game. The Goff and this offense have looking to not be that explosive this year as they were last year. Maybe people are figuring them out a little bit. And I think the Seattle Seahawks offense is really good. So I'll take the points even though it's on the road.
Yeah.